This episode is not brought to you by, but we are sipping on Modest Coffee Roasters.
That's like the opposite of what this podcast is. Modest?
Modest? Probably not.
Yeah, that's not us.
Probably not, because we're doing big things.
Damn, you hear that bar? Modest, that's not us.
Oh. Watch, there's going to be a podcast that comes out next week claiming that line. kind of like the people coming out doing a hot take on which is better, KFC or Popeyes.
Right. You heard it here first, folks.
Mm-hmm. This is Modest Coffee Roasters. We are sipping on a 2021 Special Collector Single Origin Coffee. This is like our. Did we have a Kenya? Was it Kenya last week? Was it?
Well, we've had a few Kenyans here and there. I don't think last week was though. Was it? Last week was Colombian.
Colombia. Yeah, you're right.
Colombia.
I'm holding that bag from last week. Kenya, it's a wash process. It said, I think that's the region is Kirinyaga.
Let me fix my camera real quick.
Something like that.
You're good, dog. You got that. Kirin.
Now, I see
Kirinyaga?
Yeah.
Kirakamui? I don't know.
No, Kiramakui.
Okay.
Kiramakui. Got it. I should probably visit there. It's a wash process. Now the bag says 1,750 MASLs.
The website, which I put the notes. I jumped in. It says 1,600 to 1,800. So I guess they're not lying. 1,760 is right in that range.
It is, but it's just kind of crazy. This is a 12-ounce bag, 336 grams, and it is $25 for the bag. Now, that I'll go into that whole price deal, but $25 is pretty high for 12 ounces. Regularly,
it is, but it's better than $30 for a third of that bag.
No doubt.
So, in my opinion, this was a bargain basement deal.
Well, the tasting notes on this are blueberry, apricot, vanilla, and then you got baking spices. That must be on the website.
From the website, yeah. I was too lazy to go down. I was too lazy to go down and grab the bag while I was typing up the notes last night.
They run out of space on the bag to put all those things. So I think that's why we have a little difference there.
If I can jump in there, I think what ends up happening is when people describe flavors of things on products, they tend to go into the power of threes. They just put 3 items. It's like 2 is not enough and 4 is too many. 3 seems to be that magical spot where like, oh, it's got 3 flavors. So that's good.
What's the one? Bergamot? I still don't know what bergamot is. It's like Gargamel.
Oh, bergamot. Yeah. It's like a lime bergamot. It's like a lime orange thing. Yeah. I watched a whole video about it too, and it was, but I don't want to dive into that. That was a whole YouTube rabbit hole on what bergamot is and isn't. Scan that QR code and learn more. I should have done that. Learn more about the people who grew and processed it.
Scan it. Good looking stuff. If I could get into my G grade on this coffee, it is, the bag smells terrific. If I'm giving this a thorough review here, right when you open the bag, it smells great. There's definitely not as sweet as last week. Last week had kind of a sugary smell to it. And then if I could pull out a tasting note from here, definitely some blueberry smells when you get this bag going. So it smells terrific out of the bag. So
it does smell great out of the bag.
If that gives you any indication how good this coffee is going to be, it's good. Changed up my process as I've done over the last year. 20 grams of coffee. Thanks, Greg.
I'm giving you prayer hands.
Bless
up, George. Bless up.
I'll give you credit.
You don't have to give me credit.
Ever again. So 20 grams of coffee. Weighing stuff out now. I think it's down. I've gotten this down to a 15-1. And all the good stuff, the water. After brew, I'm getting the regular earthy, piney smells. Nothing. That's kind of consistent. I would say 8 out of 10 coffees have that smell. I think it's just the nature of the beans. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to.
It's
Maybe
just your
it's my
deviated. It's a
nose.
deviated septum. That's all it is.
I had that fixed.
Oh, okay, damn it.
So it's no longer deviated.
Should have used that joke a couple years ago. Then
it's straightenated after the surgery. This coffee, first taste, very thick mouthfeel. This one to me was a really, really good.
That's thick
coating.
with 2 C's.
Nah, K. It's thick.
Okay,
it's thick. What's crazy is I don't know. You'll get into this too, but not getting blueberry, not getting vanilla, and it's cooled down a little bit since then. Plum, like a semi-sweet plum. I don't get any acidity, no acidity, no tart on some brews. This one's really easy to drink.
Interesting.
And I did 2 full processes with the AeroPress.
Okay.
To fill up the travel dealio. I can't remember what this is called, but
the fellow Carter mug.
Yeah, the one that you have that's dented.
Mug.
Mine's not dented.
You mean
yours is dented?
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Like that? That kind of dent?
Gotta love married life.
I was up here in the studio, fam. Clang, 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 clang. Downstairs, I was just I was working.
And you already knew what it was.
Yeah, you got to put yourself into a Zen state, George, to avoid conflict sometimes.
So this coffee, off rip, out of the brew, it tastes terrific. It's really good. Again, I'm getting like kind of a semi-sweet plum, not real sugary or anything like that, but it's a great flavor. It's a great flavor. For $25, this is good. It'd be hard to say. For 12 ounces at 25, it's good. It's definitely worth the upper echelon of coffees at that price range. But it's tasty. And then I'm waiting for it to cool down. I'm gonna let you do your take on it, and then maybe something will jump out at me.
I wasn't as lucky as you, George. I told you I've brewed this twice now. I've done both pour over and AeroPress, and I feel like I told you when I was grinding these beans, they were getting really fine compared to all the other beans that I grind at the exact same setting for pour over or the setting that I will have for the AeroPress. AeroPress I tend to grind a little bit finer. So when I grinded it the first time and it was pretty fine, at first I was like, I'm kind of concerned because it's so fine. I don't want it to mud up in the pour over. And it didn't really mud up, but there's a lot of acidity, slight bitter, which doesn't really bother me too much. But I felt like the acidity might be muting some of the tones and the flavors in there for me. So then when I did the AeroPress, again, I even kept the grind size at what I would do for a pour over, and the beans came out. And again, this isn't about the coffee. This is the coffee. This is the beans themselves and their structure. But my grinder, right? Obviously, I think I need to crank the setting up a bit higher to get a grittier grind that's going to be more consistent with what I would have at a finer setting for other beans.
Gravy.
Yeah. So it over extracted for me is the bottom line, I think. And I was on top of my brew times, didn't let it sit for too long or anything like that. What I am getting, it's funny you say this, I am getting the vanilla. I'm getting the last half of the tasting notes. I'm getting the vanilla and the baking spices. It's very, how like when you like raw cinnamon, the flavor aside, kind of that texture in your mouth, it's not bitter to the point where you're like, oh, it's bitter, but it's like kind of a dry bitterness to it. And like a nutmeg would even have that same type of consistency too when you eat those raw. So the sweetness that comes from those isn't carrying over, but that baking spice texture and bitterness is kind of carrying over in that. But the vanilla is there for me, and actually that's the one that's like the standout note for me, right? Where I'm getting some sweetness. I'm not getting any fruit in here. So I'm going to try this again with a fine. Matter of fact, when we get off the podcast here, I'm going to try to I'm going to bump that grinder up a couple notches and see if that can help not over extract my coffee.
Okay. So you're doing too fine of a grind.
Right. But again, to reiterate, it's the same settings I've been using for the last 2 years. This bean is just coming out finer for some reason. The structure of the bean when it goes into my grinder, I think it's just breaking up really, really easily. So I'm going to crank the grinder up to where I wouldn't usually have it and see how the bean reacts there and what I get out of it.
Well, I'm a fan. I think it tastes great. Cooled down a little bit. I don't know why I don't eat plums. So for the record, I did have God damn, now I forget what it was. I was at dinner the night and I got one of those antipasto plates.
Antipasto.
They had
Is it pasto? Yeah, you're right. It's antipasto. No, because I was trying to remember. I knew it was different at the end there.
On the menu it says antipasti with an I.
Oh, so I thought it was with an O. Interesting.
I've seen it a couple ways. Anyway,
I'm not Italian.
Dates, candy dates. That's what was on there. Those were. Really
I love
good.
Dates. I like dates if they're not candied.
Yeah. Well, they're, these ones were really good, especially
put some bacon on them joints too. Prosciutto.
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, I'm still getting kind of a semi-sweet plum-like taste, which is good. It's not unpleasant. It's just not in the tasting notes. So
right.
maybe that could be a muted blueberry. Don't know.
I don't know. For me, my end again, it's just a really earthy coffee, with some of that baking spice flavor in there.
I see you.
I don't hate it. It's great.
No, I don't hate it either. I see you found some history on Modest Coffee Roasters.
I did. I figured that I would just kind of post this in here to bring more information. Basically, hey, might as well read it. Why try to sum it up? The Modest Coffee is the creation of husband and wife duo Marcus and Jenni Contaldo. While officially established in October 2013, its story began much earlier at a little farmer's market in Brookfield, Illinois. This is where they got their first taste of fresh roasted specialty coffee, returning each Saturday to buy more. So they were going to a farmer's market, buying, some coffee that some guy roasted. Well, that guy ended up going out of business or stopped showing up or something. And the guy was like, what? Like, I really like this coffee compared to other coffees. So the guy, I say, meaning Marcus Contaldo. So he ended up getting on like eBay or Craigslist or something. And he's like, I'm going to buy a little coffee roaster and learn how to do it myself. And he did. And then next thing you know, people wanted it. And then he ended up buying some big dog commercial roaster. And here we are today, 8 years later.
Wow. That's so they pretty much took over and said, "Hey, we're going to take this."
Yeah, they were like,
if we can't,
if we can't buy the coffee we want, we'll make the coffee we want. Which, I mean, if people love something enough, they will do that. These guys are based out of Illinois in the Chicago area. I can't remember exact. Let's see. They said here they went to Brookfield, but they live somewhere else. I can't remember what it was. Just outside, just a suburb in Chicago. I don't think they have a cafe. I think they just do strictly roasting, George.
Okay.
So don't really need to give that address out because nobody's going to visit there.
Doesn't matter.
But if I'm not mistaken, if you want to check out Modest Coffee, it's modest.coffee.
Greg, can you go to their website right now?
I can. Hold on. Modest Coffee.
Curious.
All right, I'm there.
It's working?
Yeah.
Dude, it won't load for me.
Modest.coffee. It's not loading for you?
Nope.
Let me refresh. Maybe I'm getting a cached version. It's there.
That's crazy.
Oh, these guys were also a Good Food Award winner. Interesting. I didn't remember that.
Good for them. Oh, there it goes.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of check out what's going on here.
Well, mine's not. Now that you did that, mine's not loading. I dumped the cache and it's not loading.
That's awesome.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
That's great. You're welcome. Mine finally loaded. So I'm giving them a little bit of props on our split screen here, so it shows their website. We got any pictures of? Let's see, about us. Is there a picture of them on here?
Yeah, it's under the About Us, our story.
Oh, look at these guys. Husband and wife. You know, last week was a husband and wife duo too.
I'm sick of this. My wife would never step into a manufacturing realm, a cooking realm with me like this. No, she's not going to go in there and learn how to roast coffee.
Well, look at you got Marcus and Jenny up here doing big things.
I know. They chilling. They doing it.
Man. Well,
Aurora. They're Aurora, Illinois. There we go. That's where they're at. So yeah, check them out at modest.coffee, and then they're on Instagram. It's just good old Modest Coffee.
Huh. Well, I would get deep into this bag, but the damn GoPro's not working. I don't know why. It's pretty basic bag, not too crazy. It's got your classic sticker on the front, and it looks good. They got little side panels on here. If you wanted to email them, I think those look good. But very modest bag.
What do you mean? If you want to email them, they got email on the side panels. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. If you go right in there, it'll tell.
Very modest bag. I see what you did there.
No big deal. They kind of did that. Little thing. This was roasted on November 29th. Check that out.
Boom. Roasted.
Good stuff.
Let me follow them real quick. Come on here. On their IG. Thanks, Modest.
Thanks, Modest Coffee. We'll give you shouts out and tags and all that good stuff when we post the episode.